Hello and welcome to Game Changer Sports Network's Wrestle Talk. We are still working on the new official name for it. I'm JD, and joining me is Martin Lee, smartest man in the room. Thanks for joining us, Martin. I know you've been here a little bit longer than I have, but very excited about what we're going to be going over tonight. How are we doing?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you doing?
I can't complain, not yet at least. I mean, we've got a lot to talk about, especially not having a show last week. So it's going to be just the two of us tonight, and hopefully we can get through everything in a smooth manner. But first thing we want to go over, of course, is the oldest news that kind of shocked the wrestling world, especially with WWE, and that would be Zelina Vega getting fired by the WWE 10 minutes after she put out a tweet. You got any information for us on that?
Yeah, my information is that she knew ahead of time when she was going to get fired. She did not get fired because of the tweet. No, she got fired because she started an OnlyFans account, and that upset WWE so much that they just fired her.
Right. So it's definitely not just the tweet. It wasn't the tweet that got her fired. And it wasn't bad timing. It was bad timing the time the tweets went out, of course. It looked very suspicious. But it did definitely seem like Zelina Vega definitely had an idea beforehand as to what was going on. As you said, she had a OnlyFans. She wanted to do a lot of. I heard she wanted to do a lot of stuff on Twitch herself. And so you think that last tweet that she sent before getting fired was kind of a shot over the bow, kind of a parting shot before the official word came out?
Yeah, I think it was because it was suspicious because she posted at like 5:30 and like 5:40, 5:50, boom, WWE posted saying that she got cut.
Yep. Yeah, so she got cut. Of course, the tweet that we're talking about that she sent out was wrestlers should unionize, or I believe in wrestlers to unionize, or something to that effect. And of course, WWE's practices as far as having contractors, that's how it's, at least the last time I had checked, it was understood. WWE hires their wrestlers or superstars as contractors, and then they don't have to pay benefits, but contractors can usually work for whoever they want to. In the case of WWE, even Zelina Vega now being released has a 90 days no contest clause where she can't wrestle anywhere until mid-February. So
that's crazy.
Yeah, and as I said, like most contractors, you're able to do work in between jobs and everything. So if you're working 2 days for this one guy roofing, you're a contractor and you're going to go work on someone else's bathroom in between, that's completely legal, but WWE does not allow that. If you're signed with WWE, you work strictly for WWE until you're either let go or quit or whatever happens to happen. Now, of course, with Zelina Vega, with that happening, I remember you saying something that she's looking for some kind of counsel or something like that she might be checking into something.
Yeah, I think it was somebody else that said she was checking into something.
Okay, and that was the Screen Actors Guild, perhaps?
I think so.
All right, I haven't heard anything. That's why I go to you usually for that kind of news. But
so she had a meeting with the head of the Screen Actors Guild, and it was a quote-unquote very positive meeting, according to the head of the Screen Actors Guild.
Interesting. All right. Well, we got Jake checking on us in the from backstage, really. So thank you, Jake, for that. So yeah, a very positive meeting with the head of the Screen Actors Guild. So that's interesting. That could lead to something, maybe a lawsuit of some kind. I don't know. It doesn't sound like this was a very mutual parting from both parties.
Yeah, it would not surprise me at all if there's a lawsuit coming pretty soon, most likely after her no compete clause, And yeah, it would just and she had the right to do that, and it would and I don't see this ending very well with the WWE. I don't see this ending very well.
I don't as much as the WWE, it will definitely hurt Zelina if she ever looks to come back if WWE changes their ways. I don't think this is gonna be a very clean parting after push comes to shove. Now, of course, that also leads us to the fact that other people may have been affected by this. And of course, I think it was you who pointed out Aleister Black, who is married to Zelina Vega, had asked to go down to NXT. And from what I remember, you said that he was actually denied that.
Yeah, he was denied, which I don't get why he was denied, because he is doing absolutely nothing on SmackDown right now. Like, if you look at SmackDown, you see him after he got drafted. Sure, he got drafted, but where has he been since he got drafted? Absolutely nowhere, because he's been doing absolutely nothing since he got drafted. So there's no point of keeping him on the main roster if you have nothing for him. Just send him down to NXT, have him have some great storylines, and most importantly, have him have some TV time, and then let him be himself and not be in catering every week.
Yeah, no, I mean, they're not using him, they're not utilizing him, and I think anyone would at that point say, hey, you know what? I want to actually do my thing. I want to wrestle. I want to be seen. And we're not 100% sure why he wasn't allowed in NXT. Maybe it is that later on they'll have plans for him on SmackDown. But of course, it just looks very suspicious with him being married to Zelina Vega. So,
yeah, it would not surprise me within the next few weeks or maybe a few months if we see Aleister Black get released by WWE. It would not surprise me one bit, because he is because, as you said, he's married to Zelina Vega. And if I was him, I would not be happy right now with how his wife got treated and all that stuff. I'd be asking for my release right now.
Yeah, no, I hear you. I mean, with that is almost a level of disrespect there, which I would not blame Aleister for feeling, especially Zelina Vega for feeling. And I believe that if Aleister Black were to go onto the free market, as it were, he would be a hot commodity to pick up for just about any promotion around the world.
I feel that as much as they say that they pick up every WWE guy that gets released, I feel that Aleister Black could do amazing things in AEW, and just let him go there.
Mark my words, Zelina Vega and Aleister Black, once available, are going to Impact Wrestling.
Ooh.
All right, we got words from
That
Impact Wrestling.
That would be
a heck of a
interesting take. Yeah, I can see why they were going to Impact, because Impact has been picking up some steam lately, and it's not a joke. It's not a joke that they used to be. Now they're actually an interesting company now.
Yeah, so they're. It seems like they're trying to get back on to where they were before, before the big collapse. I mean, TNA Impact. I remember watching it way back, and it was entertaining. And since then, I've heard some ridiculous things about it. I've heard a lot of people mocking it. So it does sound like they're trying to get back on the right track now.
Yeah, they're starting to get back on the right track. And Impact really went down once Hulk Hogan got there. Once Hulk Hogan went there, once Hulk Hogan got there, it just went downhill. And they had a good thing going. Then after, when Hulk Hogan came, it was just went downhill. And then they could not they could not get their momentum back. And now they're trying to get it back.
Well, I'm wishing them the best. Of course, I'd love to have a little bit of competition in the industries. I'd love to see companies do well because that brings out the best wrestling in just about every promotion. when it comes down to it. So we've covered Zelina Vega. Ooh, whoop.
That thought made my mind move. And we didn't talk about this. I don't know if you guys saw this, but Kenny Omega made a comment about potentially working with the WWE in the future. Did either one of you see this?
I did not see this.
I did. I actually saw this.
Eyebrow raising.
Kenny Omega is all for it because it's what's best for the fans.
Makes sense.
Absolutely. I'm all for it. I would love to see that happen.
Yeah. I mean, I think it was Triple H put in the mix that he's looking at perhaps creating a second NXT show to air another night during the week, give more people some TV time, and now Kenny Omega, maybe AEW in general, working with WWE.
Yeah, I do not see that happening. For one reason and one reason only.
Which is
Vince McMahon. He is the only reason I do not see AEW and WWE working together. Of course, it would be an amazing opportunity for both companies, but it'll be amazing for the fans. But Vince McMahon, we all know how he works, and he's not gonna let that happen. Now, if Triple H was in charge of this and Judge WWE right now, I think he would do this. But since Vince McMahon is in charge right now, I don't think it's gonna happen. But in the future, maybe when Vince steps down, AEW and WWE can maybe work together. But right now, I don't think it's a possibility.
I don't think it'd be much of a possibility. I would say that if they wanted to try to move it slowly, a pay-per-view a year where it's like an AEW versus WWE kind of thing. Kind of like what happened at Survivor Series, where you have the two brands facing off each other. You have the two companies facing off against each other. Once a year kind of thing, just so fans could get interested and see these dream matches between companies. But I have to agree with you, Martin. I don't think Vince McMahon would want anything to do with it unless he controlled both entities. And that seems to be really the way things go when it comes to a Vince McMahon run thing. If he doesn't, with the alliance, with when they got ECW, WCW, none of that actually ever happened until he was in control. And when it comes down to it, I think it's because he wants WWE to look like it is the number one wrestling promotion in the world, which undeniably it is as far as size and reach goes. But he wants his guys to look the strongest. He wants his guys to look the best. And I can't blame him. If you're trying to showcase to the fans and everything that you have the best wrestling, the best wrestlers, that's how you show it, by having them win matches. So going from there, though, because we are a 1 hour show and we're 15 minutes in, let's go ahead and talk about last night on WWE. We had the big pay-per-view Survivor Series, of course, and we want to go ahead and thank everyone who's watching while we're at it. Before we hop into Survivor Series, catch us on Twitch, Facebook, like, share, comment. We're always here for the comments. We're going to go ahead and try to hit as many as we can while talking about this. But let's go over Survivor Series today. We went ahead and I've got them all written down here. I got to actually watch Survivor Series. I was very excited. And the big theme of the night was SmackDown versus Raw. And overall, I thought it was a pretty good pay-per-view. What about you, Martin?
Yeah, I thought it was a pretty good show, even though the fans supremacy do not matter at all. Even though it doesn't matter at all, it was a pretty good show. We had some pretty good matches. We had some great matches. And we had some good matches. We had some, and it all led up to The Undertaker.
It really did. I really liked the card was laid out. I think it was laid out in a way that gave you your ups, your downs, exactly when you needed them to. But starting off with the pre-show, we had a dual brand Royal Rumble. That was a Royal Rumble, a Battle Royale. My mistake. I apologize. And a controversial / dirty win by Mr. Money in the Bank, The Miz. What'd you think about that match overall?
It was a fun match to start up the show, and when the match started, I thought it was going to be. I picked the Miz to win, but when the match started, I was like, okay, Dominic or Murphy are probably going to win this. And then when I saw that when Miz, I thought I got eliminated. I was like, okay, Dominic is going to win this. Looking at the Dominic and Chad Gable, and when Dominic got rid of Chad Gable, I was like, all right, Dominic won. That's a good victory for him. But wait, the Miz feet did not actually hit the floor. I mean, he was going to go over the top rope, and then he just swept in and eliminated Dominic when nobody saw it coming. And I actually like this outcome because even though they were there pushing Dominic, they need to push the Miz as a viable threat because he is Mr. Money in the Bank. And ever since he went Mr. Money in the Bank, of course he's having a great on the mic and all that stuff, but he's actually losing matches just like Drew McIntyre, and so the Miz really needed this win.
I agree. When you're Mr. Money in the Bank, you got to show that you can win. And what happened was he was thrown over the top rope, landed on the apron, and was laying on the apron. And while Dominic tried to push him off, he bounced off the ropes to go and baseball slide him. And the Miz had rolled far enough into the ring that when he got hit, they said, oh, he had returned into the ring, so now he didn't go over the top rope. And then the Miz came back and won it after Dominic eliminated Chad Gable, which, by the way, was a surprise for me that he made it that far into the Royal Rumble. I was the Battle Royale. I was very happy to see Chad make it that far. So that was kind of nice as well. But then the Miz coming back in and throwing Dominic out to win the whole thing also kind of shows that he's sneaky. He's an opportunist, which is the perfect thing you want to make Mr. Money in the Bank, because that's what it's about, is knowing when opportunity is knocking on your door to go out there and win a world title. So I agree with you. I thought it was a great, fun way to start the show, and it was won by the person that really needed it. Then, this was surprising to me, we jumped right into the Survivor Series matches with the men's Survivor Series match, Team Raw versus Team SmackDown, and a very surprising outcome, in my opinion. What do you think about what happened there, Martin?
All right, so for the before I talk about what happened, let me ask you: do you think it was before we knew what the outcome was? Do you think it was the right decision to put Otis Otis on the team instead of Biggie?
You know, I actually could have gone either way, Otis or Big E. A lot of people are saying, I know a lot of people aren't on the Otis train. I myself, well, you can't really get on a train that ain't moving, you know? So by putting them in there and letting them have matches and things like that, I cannot complain. I don't think Otis has failed in his wrestling role. I think putting him as Mr. Money in the Bank was a role too big for him. But putting him in a Survivor Series match, I think fits well. So I could have gone either with Otis or Big E on this one.
Yeah. I was confused when Otis was was in the Survivor Series team, but after seeing what the outcome was, it was the right choice right there because the outcome was Raw just completely destroyed SmackDown in that Survivor Series match. I mean, it was a clean sweep. Nobody on Raw got eliminated. Everybody on SmackDown got eliminated. It was a very surprising outcome to me. I did not expect that to happen. I really expected like Keith Lee to be the sole survivor in this match, but no, it was a clean sweep.
Yep. I mean, Raw wins it in a clean sweep, which, I mean, I went into that match going, I think Raw's going to win. I thought Raw was going to take that one anyways. But in a clean sweep, that hasn't happened for, what was it? Since I think it was Shawn Michaels and Triple H. It was DX, the Hardy Boys, and someone else, and CM Punk, I think.
Against
one
Ray
of
RK, I think.
Yeah, I believe that's what it was. I can't remember 100%, but it's been a little bit since we've had a clean sweep. But as you said, that was extremely surprising. Seth Rollins going in there saying for the greater good and then asking for the Brock kick right in the face. So he got eliminated. The rest of Team SmackDown was completely shocked from there. But yeah, I expected at least one, maybe two people from Raw to get eliminated. But it was a clean sweep. And at the end, they're all hugging and shaking hands and making jokes and everything. And this was a team that originally you didn't think was going to be working well together. And they come out and there we go. You got to love some family connection right here on Wrestle Talk.
Yep.
But yeah, we had a clean sweep. I mean, I would have loved to see someone like Keith Lee, especially being the last man standing, and he gets to everyone basks in his glory, or something that would have made sense. But I did not expect the clean sweep. Kevin Owens, I think, had a really great showing in there. I think he must have hit 4 stunners, and all in all, I thought it was an entertaining match, just a very unexpected outcome. So,
yeah, it was an interesting match to watch. And yep.
Yeah, I mean, but all in all, I think it was fun. It was entertaining. It was a Survivor Series match, which is one of my favorite matches to watch. I couldn't watch them back to back to back to back to back, but I think it's a really cool stipulation, very fun match usually, and I think they did a great job. But then we're going to move on now to what was, in my opinion, match of the night. So SmackDown Tag Team Champions versus the Raw Tag Team Champions, the Street Profits facing off against New Day in what I think was just a banger of a match. Martin, your thoughts on the Street Profits versus New Day?
Yeah, it was a very good match. This was WWE's answer to FTR versus the Young Bucks. And to me, they hit it out of the park right here. I mean, when you want to talk about tag team matches, you don't think of WWE. But right here, this is what a tag team match should be. A fast-paced, both teams are going at it in the ring, and you don't know who's going to win, and you're invested in the tag team match. And at the end of the day, the Street Profits won in a close, very close match. And to me, that was, quite honestly, might be the best match tonight.
I'm going to have to agree with you. I'm not even going to say I think it was the best. That was, in my opinion, hands down the match of the night. And as you said, you don't expect this kind of tag team wrestling coming out of WWE. But the Street Profits and the New Day, they went into that, and both teams, they like to have a good time. But when it came to the fisticuffs part, it became a wrestling match of who is the better team. We think New Day thinks they're the better team. Street Profits want to go ahead and take that torch from them. And I mean, it was a very close match. The match was won with a blind tag, really, in a double team move. I can't remember exactly which one it was, but it was a fantastic match. You didn't know who was going to win. That's the beauty of a lot of matches.
Yep, I got some breaking news. Mike Bennett, who was Mike Kanellis WWE, he has returned to ROH.
He has returned to ROH?
Yep, he's back at ROH now.
Oh. All right. Well, we got some movement going on in the free agency.
Yeah, and he just made a turn, and he just saved his partner, Matt Taven.
Wait. Do you just say he's back with Matt Taven? The Kingdom is reunited?
Yeah, he just saved his partner, Matt Taven. Yep.
That answers my question. I was gonna come in and ask, what do you think Ring of Honor's plans are now that Mike Bennett is back? But clearly the plans are for the Kingdom to get back together and wind up the band and have a good old time. So I'm gonna just step out again.
Thanks for coming on. So I'm not, unfortunately, I haven't been keeping up with a lot of Ring of Honor for the last, since I was originally a wrestling fan, now 16 years ago. I was watching when Samoa Joe was in there, CM Punk was in there, so it's been a little bit. But no, it's always good to see people getting back together. I assume the Kingdom was very entertaining to watch.
Yeah, it was.
All right. And we got Maria Snyder. Yes. I don't know if that's to the Kingdom getting back together, but I hope so. As I said, I'm not too familiar with it, but it does sound like it's going to be very fun to watch. ROH, again, just one of the many promotions in America you get to watch. Very surprising for me, at least, to hear that Mike Bennett has returned. Back with Matt Damon, Kingdom reunited. So, and that's the beauty about having Martin here with us. What? Oh, I'm sorry. Look, I'm going with very old information. I'm just happy that Martin's here to keep me on the loop.
Matt Damon is an actor.
I'm sorry. Look, the name sounded good.
It definitely sounded good, and we all know who Matt Damon is.
Yeah, I'm sorry. That my bad. Again, haven't watched it in over 14 years. I'm going with we have Martin here because he's the guy that knows, and he gets all the breaking news for us. He is on top of everything for us. So thank you. I'm 30. When did I become an old man? Oh boy. But yeah, so we got the Kingdom reunited, which is awesome news. But we got to slip back into Survivor Series. We're almost halfway through our show already. So yeah, Street Profits versus New Day, in my opinion, match of the night. Moving on from that, we had we had the Street Profits and the New Day, and then we went to the U.S. title versus the Intercontinental title. Bobby Lashley versus Sami Zayn, and not one of my favorites. Not especially for two wrestlers that I actually think could have worked very well together. And we got kind of a slump of a match. I think this was bathroom break, grab your concession stand, $7 beers, and come back when it's over kind of match. That's my opinion, Martin, and maybe you saw something that I didn't.
Yeah, it was nothing special. It was just an average match. This match was just to make Bobby Lashley look strong. Sami Zayn took the loss here. Nothing special to watch. Bobby Lashley just dominated him, and that was it. Bobby Lashley looked like the champion. They just looked like a dominated champion.
Yeah, I mean, when it comes down to it, that's what it was. It was a match to make Bobby Lashley. Whoa.
Real quick, I just watched the Mike Bennett return to Ring of Honor just because I like Mike Bennett, and he looks yoked. He looks out of his mind right now.
Oh, yeah?
So this could very well be the time Ring of Honor straps the rocket to Mike Bennett.
That'd be interesting. So that's awesome. As I said, unfortunately, I haven't kept up with Ring of Honor. Martin, maybe you've got a little bit more insight on that.
Yeah, I don't have any enough info right now, but it would not surprise me if they make Mike Bennett pretty soon the Ring of Honor champion. It wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah, no, I mean, as I said, I haven't been keeping up. I don't know where the belt is right now or anything like that, but maybe ROH in for a little bit of a shakeup. So we will have to see. Going back to Survivor Series, of course, we will get through this, I promise. Bobby Lashley versus Sami Zayn. Bobby Lashley, that match was strictly to get not just Bobby Lashley over, but I think the Hurt Business over. Because they didn't, that was the big thing. They didn't ever cheat. They didn't go out there and try to, take out Sami Zayn altogether. I mean, he got in their faces, which distracted him, allowing Bobby Lashley to attack him from behind. The only time was when Sami was trying to leave the match. He tripped over MVP, and then MVP just threw him back into the ring, which, I mean, as far as a lot of things go, is pretty minimal. I mean, I guess you could go ahead and say it was a cheating tactic, but it was really, I mean, with how strong Lashley is, with how good of a mover Sami is, I think they could have done a ton more in this match. But we ended up getting kind of a squash match that just, in the end, wasn't entertaining to watch. The thing I like about squash matches is they're quick. They really get a guy over. Unfortunately, it usually squashes the other guy, and he doesn't get over very well. But this one seemed to drag on. And it was a time where I just, I could go ahead and check my phone or do something else, and I was not entertained at all by this match. So, not great. Then we moved into the two women's champions facing off against each other, Sasha Banks versus Asuka, which, I mean, historically has been a pretty good match. Historically has been a one-sided match with Asuka getting all the wins, I believe, when they faced off against each other. And in Survivor Series, it was Sasha Banks who ended up getting the win. So you think it's Sasha Banks' time to be the women's champion of WWE?
Yeah, I think she had a. I mean, every time she has a title reign besides this one, she always loses like in the first title defense. But now, I think that we just strap the rocket to her and have her be the champion, the woman, the face of SmackDown, the face of the women's division there, and to me, that's the right idea. And Sasha vs. Asuka, it was a decent match. Nothing special, nothing too amazing, but it was just a decent match. It was to point A to point B. They did what they need. They did what they need to do, and it was a solid match.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. Funny enough, while that match was going on, towards the end of the match, they both started trying to get a lot of pins in, a cradle, a roll, an O'Connor, all sorts of things like that. And as I'm watching, I was kind of scratching my chin, and I went, you know what? I really don't think I would mind if this match ended with a roll-up. And in fact, that is how it ended up being won. And with that being said, I think not only does it show, okay, Sasha Banks got the win over someone that she has not been able to get a win over, it shows that she could be the champion, but also leaves the back door open for, these are both very strong champions, and maybe they, even these two might not be able to win in a decisive manner against each other. So I think they've left the back door open to say, yep, you know what? Asuka's great and she's on Raw. Sasha's great and she's on SmackDown. These are two women that can absolutely go at it. And when they go against each other, they've got to pull out all the tricks and all the stops to go ahead and get a victory over the other. So I think it was very well done. I don't think it was a mind-blowing match. But as you said, Martin, I think it got exactly what needed to be done. And I appreciated that. So it was a all in all solid match. Not head over heels in love with it, but at the same time, I think it told a story a little deeper than I think a lot of people were expecting without a solid winner and the roll-up victory being exactly what it needed. All right, after that, we got the second of the Survivor Series matches, the women's match of Raw versus SmackDown. Team Raw, Nia Jax, Shayna Baszler, Lacey Evans, Peyton Royce, and Lana versus Bayley, Natalya, Bianca Belair, Liv Morgan, and Ruby Riott. And even then, again, they WWE is big on this, but there was a big deal about who the captains were for both the men's and the women's Survivor Series matches. And they put a lot of emphasis on it as if it was going to have as if this actually meant anything later on in the year, or, you know, as you said earlier tonight, Martin, no one cares afterwards who won, because it's not like this stuff is tracked or anything. No one, you know, you didn't get a title shot for the other people's titles because of this, but it always seemed to be, well, I'm the captain. No, I'm the captain. And that seemed to be the big push point for all these stories, rather than we're going to beat SmackDown. And, you know, it was very weird how they pushed that rather than anything else as far as stories go.
Yeah, yeah. If you're the captain of a team, you should get rewarded if your team
If you're
wins. That's
right,
the way it should be.
I agree.
If for the men and women, say, hey, you won your team's captain, and you're got a team with a match. Congratulations, you get a WWE Championship match, or a match you choose, what kind of match you're choosing. Right there, that's the perfect thing. And another thing is, the winning team should get number 30 in the Royal Rumble. That's another thing that they can do.
Oh, kind of like an all-star playoff, you know, the all-star game in the MLB, you know, where it meant something, or I believe that was what it was. I don't know. I haven't watched baseball in forever, but you know, it's kind of like the all-star game that actually means something, you know. But yeah, I agree with you. I mean, the losing team should be punished, you know, to a point. If you're the captain of the losing team, and for instance, if you're the captain of the SmackDown men's team and you got clean swept, something, you should have to face the punishment. Well, you were in charge. How dare you let SmackDown down like that? And something. You know, just give incentive to make these storyboards actually mean something. Now, the big storyboard going into this was the fact that Nia Jax had put Lana through the announce table 9 times going into Survivor.
9 weeks in a row. 9 weeks in a row. 9 weeks in a row.
Right? And then Lana's getting yelled at, you know, you're going to stay, you know, you don't tag yourself in unless we tell you to. And the whole team was against her. And here was something that I had the biggest problem with that match, because all in all, that match was entertaining. But the biggest problem I had with that match was the fact that all of the rest of the Raw women's team had basically ostracized Lana from the team. Nope, you know, you're the outsider. And Lana was the last one to enter. And it was her usual entrance. Big smile, walking down to the ring. You wouldn't have guessed that she had gone through a table 9 weeks in a row. You wouldn't have guessed that there was anything wrong between her and the team. For just having her go down to the ring like that, just as if nothing was wrong, her usual entrance, you know, and she didn't look angry, upset, or anything, was just a very weird thing for me to see. And then after she gets in the ring and the rest of the team sees her, she's just like, oh. It was a very odd choice, in my opinion. And that's really the biggest problem I had with that match.
Yeah, I think there's a little connection lag a little bit.
Yeah. What? I'm sorry, you're lagging a little.
Connection lag.
Yes. But yeah, no, I found that odd. Besides that, though, the end of the match was extremely creative, in my opinion. What do you think about what happened in that match?
Yeah, I was the match saying, okay, they need to make Bianca Belair. They need to showcase Bianca Belair in this match right now, and that's what they did. To me, the MVP of that match was Bianca Belair, and they had to push her in. They had to push her in the match, and they had to, really did. She showcased everything she got, and she showed that she has the skills and the talent to be a potential women's champion like a year, maybe 2 years down the line. And hopefully SmackDown can push her to be the top to be the top woman in the future.
You know what? And I agree
Like I
with you.
said, the match was interesting.
Yep.
The match was interesting. It was a solid. It was a great match to watch. It was interesting, but the ending, I was confused by that. I was really confused about how Lana has done absolutely nothing in the match, and they made her the last woman standing. I mean, I get it, but I was confused. I was like, okay, what are you doing? Like, and the way they did it was confusing as well. Like, Bianca, then she put Nia Jax through the Thunderdome, and then she went back in the ring. But just as she made it back in the ring, the ref counted 10, and Lana, who had done absolutely nothing the entire match, won just by standing at the stairs. I'm like, okay.
It was a very interesting. Matthew Boyce, perfect 10 tonight on Raw. Beautiful. I don't know if that perfect 10.
So I actually messaged him about that because it was super confusing.
Mm-hmm.
I instantly thought Shawn Spears, and I'm like, wait a minute, something doesn't add up here. No, he's talking about Lana going through a table for the perfect 10th time.
Oh, you did? Oh,
a 10th time. 10 weeks in a row. Thank you, Matthew, for keeping us up to date on our.
She actually did that. Wow. She actually went through a 10th time table. Wow.
I don't think she has yet, but I think that's what he's anticipating.
Oh, all right.
Oh.
He's calling it. He's calling it. Hopefully we'll see. I mean, I won't see it. We're here. But no, I think the end of that match was actually watching the hasn't happened yet prediction. All right, Matthew. Yes, hasn't happened yet. He's predicting that Lana goes through a 10th week in a row. We're gonna have to find out with the. But yes, Lana did win the match by standing on the stairs, and the last two people from the SmackDown and Raw team ended up getting a double count out, which allowed Lana to be the last woman standing. Now, when I was watching the match, I was going, all right, Lana's got to do something to save Team Raw. If she does something to save Team Raw, all right, awesome. She ended up saving Team Raw, but she did nothing, which was very unusual. I mean, I cackled like the evil man that I am. I'm sitting watching, and they're like, and Lana is your sole survivor for the Raw team. So I'm sitting there giggling to myself like a crazy guy, going, all right, that was really unusual. But it got people talking. And I think the oh my gosh, the evil stare Nia Jax gave Lana afterwards, I can't blame Mr. Boyce over here for saying, yeah, I think she's going through a table the 10th time tonight. I can't blame him on that because that's exactly the look Nia Jax gave her. What that's going to lead to in the future, I don't know. I mean, you get sent through a table 9, maybe 10 times in a row, and then you're told, no, you're not going to.
You get sympathy from the fans. You get sympathy from the fans, and they kind of make you a mixture of baby face kind of, and you get sympathy. That's the only way I can see it going.
Yeah, and I mean, but at the same time, you know, a lot of fans like people to earn that sympathy. A lot of people like their heroes to earn, you know, to show that fighting spirit. And Lana didn't do it because she just stood on the steps. So I'm not sure. You know, some people that I've talked to, some of my wrestling friends, said it made Lana look weak to win the match, but not actually do anything. I can see where they're coming from. But all in all, as you said, Bianca Belair looked mint in that match, and it did what it had to do. And we saw Raw win again. But we got to move right along. We've got about 15 minutes left, a little less than 15. And we got a couple more things to finish up. Roman Reigns versus Drew McIntyre, the WWE champion versus the Universal champion. What do you think about this match? It was the main event tonight on yesterday night on Survivor Series.
Yeah, it was a solid match. Both guys really showcased what they had what their ability to wrestle and everything. They did what they had to do. The match was really interesting to watch, and to me, it might be it's between that match and New Day versus Street Profits for the best match tonight.
Yeah, I mean, out of the two, oh, sorry, yeah, you're lagging a little bit.
To pick between those two. You still there?
Yep, yeah, I'm still here. You were lagging out a little bit. Yep. You said so. You say the best matches would be between Roman Reigns and Drew McIntyre and Street Profits and the New Day. So which one would you take out?
Yeah, that's hard because I enjoyed both of them. I enjoyed both of them, but if I had to choose, I might have to go with Street Profits and New Day just by a small margin.
Very small margin.
because by a small margin because Roman Reigns and Drew McIntyre were really good, but that Street Profits and New Day match, oh, that was just perfection when it comes to tag team wrestling.
Yes, it was a fantastic match. I myself, Drew McIntyre, Roman Reigns, it showed off what they can do. I don't think they went as over the top with it as they could have. I don't think it was, I think they did a fantastic job. It definitely was the second best match of the night. But I still feel like the two of them can do better together. I still feel like those two could have a better match. Roman Reigns' pacing was very slow, but very deliberate. So it made sense. Drew McIntyre had some awesome explosive offensive. But of course, the match was decided when Jey Uso returned to the ring. They got a low blow in. Roman Reigns got a low blow in. And
after Jey Uso interfered in the match, and then Roman Reigns got the low blow.
Yes, and that allowed Roman Reigns to get the victory. It's exactly what needed to happen with how strong they've been booking Roman. And even if Drew McIntyre just won the title, losing it in a dirty way like that, it protected both guys. I think they did a fantastic job with the match. I mean, I have no complaints about that match, period, the end. And, of course, the heartbreaking end of Survivor Series. We got about 10 minutes left. We have to cover it. I mean, I'm a grown man. I was almost brought to tears. The final farewell of The Undertaker. What do you think? How'd they do?
As a wrestling fan, you see this so many times. Someone is going to retire, and usually 9 out of 10 times, this ends up badly. Going to this, I was like, okay, the Retribution or the Fiend's going to come out and attack The Undertaker at the end. But WWE did a really good job with bringing out everyone that Taker has history with in WWE, and they put out all the stuff here.
All right. Everybody that was in the ring made sense, except for one person. Because everybody there was one of Undertaker's very close real-life friends. What the hell was Jeff Hardy doing there?
Manchester 2002 in a ladder match.
There's literally no stories about Jeff and Undertaker being close, though. And everybody there was a very close friend of The Undertaker.
But they say that match is what really springboarded Jeff Hardy's career into being a singles wrestler and potentially Hall of Famer. I mean, have you seen that match? It was a really good match.
Okay, why wasn't John Cena there? Why wasn't The Rock there? Why wasn't Stone Cold there?
Those are great questions. Look, I won't deny that those are great questions, but I don't think that because those guys were there, Jeff Hardy shouldn't have been there.
Hardy.
Look, have you seen that match?
Yes, I've seen that match.
Out of all the matches in WWE, that is probably one of my favorite matches, not for the action in the ring, but for JR's commentary. Because for a moment while I'm watching the match, I'm thinking JR wants Jeff Hardy to actually just go off script and grab the belt. Just do it, Jeff. Become immortal. I'm like, yeah, do it. It was fantastic. I'm banging on my desk. My monitors are swinging now.
Can we also talk about the fact that no one told Kane he didn't need to dress up?
He comes out and he's full Kane, rather than everyone else in half of a suit at least. I mean, the only other person that wasn't really dressed up was Jeff Hardy. Once again, I mean, if you're in Jake's train of thought, maybe shouldn't have been there. But then Kane comes out, pure Kane outfit, the mask, tip-top wrestling gear, and he comes out and he's what? Was he the last one to come out?
Yes.
Yeah, he comes out.
Wait, what? I thought it was Kevin Nash for a second.
No, Nash came out before.
But yeah, no, I mean, you would expect, you almost were expecting him to come out there and just chokeslam everyone. I mean, did
you see Ric Flair laughing?
Yeah, I mean, I was laughing. But yeah, so everyone came out. They did that, and Taker kept it short and sweet. I mean, besides his entrance, but his entrance is never short and sweet. It's long and it's drawn out. That Jeff Hardy Undertaker match was awesome, yes, but Austin Rock Cena would have been more impactful. I agree, and I don't think any of us actually know why they weren't there. I doubt it's because they didn't want to be.
Hollywood. Well, with the exception of Stone Cold.
Cena, but Cena and Rock, it's obviously Hollywood and all that stuff. But Stone Cold, I don't get why.
Stone Cold, I don't understand, but I think, Martin, as you said, they did take a right. I mean, the only heartbreaking oh my gosh, the part that got me was when Undertaker took the knee. He does the thing, and then they put in that little holographic Paul Bearer with the little Paul Bearer squeal. I almost lost it. I almost lost it. You almost had a full-grown man crying, and it would have been an ugly cry. I'm an ugly crier, but it would have been bad. I almost lost it right there. But yeah, Taker just, it's time for me to let the Undertaker rest in peace. Got the 10 bell salute and walked on out there, and he walked out tall and proud. And I think they did him well. And I think that is going to be the last time we see Taker
until Saudi Arabia.
Until Saudi Arabia. I think we got Matthew. Grown men shed tears last night. I was one of them, and I don't even care. It took a lot for me not to. I will tell you that. But yeah, I think they did Undertaker well.
Yeah, and to me, it showed that last night WWE did a very good job when it comes to video montages, because that video montage to the Undertaker was just phenomenal. It showed everything. It showed his highlights. It showed his entire career, and it was just a great lead-up to having the Undertaker come out.
Yeah, Undertaker. WWE is second to none when it comes to video packages, and Undertaker's career is basically second to none. I would go ahead and go out on a limb. He's in America. I would say he's one of the greatest. And in America, he's one of the greatest. I mean, all over the world, I would go ahead and argue that, but it's undeniable. Don't lie, you cried, Jay. I almost cried.
Cody, we all know he cried. We all know it.
I was sobbing with a bucket of ice cream. But yeah, no, they did a great job. I am going to take over. We've got about 4 minutes left to go. So I'm going to go ahead and hit everyone with a quick NJPW blitz, if you don't mind, Martin. So,
go ahead.
All right. In the world of New Japan, I got 4 minutes before we have to go off. We've got the World Tag League going on along with the Best of the Super Juniors. And right now, as far as the World Tag League goes, we've got 3 leaders Both are round robin style tournaments. Right now, the three leaders in the World Tag League are the tag team of Sanada and Shingo Takagi, Jeff Cobb and the Great Okan in the newly formed Empire stable, and of course the Gorillas of Destiny from Bullet Club. All of them are tied at 3-1. And best of the Super Juniors, we've got 4 men tied out of the 10, and that is Taiji Ishimori. Boy, I'm trying to rush too much. Taichi Ishimori, who is the current junior heavyweight champion. Hiromu Takahashi, who is fantastic and is a favorite to win this year. Sho and the surprising Master Wato, all of which are 3 wins to 1 loss, with Hiromu having a big win over Ishimori. I'm just going to go with last names. It's much easier for me. With Hiromu having a win over Ishimori, which means that later on he'll be able to challenge for the junior heavyweight title. Let's see. Anything else that I have about New Japan? Interesting note, most of the time they have some shows. Most of these shows end up starting off with inconsequential match. And they've been having my guy Kojima, who's 50-year-old wrestler, definitely more on his way out. He's won every single one of his matches, which has been very entertaining to watch. He used to be an IWGP heavyweight champion, so that's pretty cool. But yeah, right now in the world of New Japan, they are setting up to get their challengers ready for the upcoming Wrestle Kingdom, which is a 2-night event this year, which will happen on January 4th and 5th. I'm planning on watching it. Hopefully, I'm going to have an article coming out to help people really kind of start understanding a little bit of the Japanese pro wrestling style. I know it's not meant for everyone. Jake and I have disagreements on it, but yeah, hopefully I can help out people with that. And besides that, that's really all I've got for an update on what's been happening across the Pacific over in New Japan, which leaves us with 1 minute left to go. Any final thoughts that you've got, Martin, about what's happened between Zelina Vega, Survivor Series, or anything about New Japan that you might have a question about?
All I know is, yeah. So who do you got? So who do you got winning? So who do you got winning those 2 big time matches and Wrestle Kingdom?
Who do I have winning for the best of the Super Juniors?
No. For those big 2 time matches.
The big 2 title matches?
Yeah, like
that's I want to say that it's going to be Kota Ibushi winning against Naito on night 1 and then defeating Jay White on night 2. Personally, I don't want that. I love Naito, but I got to go with Ibushi finally climbing to the top of the mountain. He's put the time in at New Japan.
Yeah, this story has Ibushi winning the IWGP Heavyweight Championship and most titles written all over it. So I got to go with him as well.
Absolutely. And unfortunately, though, we are out of time. We want to thank everyone that joined in and commented, liked. We always want to have you guys back on and joining us for Wrestle Talk. And hopefully we'll have Jake with us next week, besides just backstage. But thank you for joining us at Game Changer Sports Network. And you all enjoy your nights. Thank you.